It's a vile and scurrilous outrage that the Greens are blocking Labor's magnificent housing crisis package, the HAFF, the Housing Affordability Future Fund. They claim, these wreckers, that the HAFF won't deliver the houses that Labor says it will. Dead wrong. It will deliver houses. It will deliver holiday houses. Yes, holiday houses. Even better than houses, think of the memories that these HAFF money managers will enjoy. The money people, that is, who decide which shares to put the government money into. Think of the memories they will have when they are in their taxpayer-funded holiday houses on the coast or in a country hamlet. For they will be charging 2% to manage this money, and they will get bonuses. This is how the markets work. The more of other people's money that you manage, the more money you get. And here they are at the Future Fund, up there nestled in their eagle's nest at the iconic Collins Arch skyscraper in Melbourne, in their Eyrie. Or maybe the Sydney office, a stone's throw from the Westfield boutiques in the plush 100 Market Street premises. A handy elevator ride to the revolving restaurant, the Sky Feast, atop Centre Point Tower, perfect place to lunch some government clients. The question is, how many houses, apart from holiday houses, will the HAFF actually deliver after the investment costs? Well, that depends on the markets. To get to the basics, the government is proposing not to give precious budget money to the HAFF, not to do old-fashioned government-y things like issue bonds to pay for it. No, something far more funky than that. The Housing Australia Funky Fund plans to lend money to the HAFF to make a loan, and then the HAFF will invest it, and then the dividends and other market returns will be used to build those 30,000 houses that the government cites. And so the government lends the money to the money managers so it doesn't even put a dimple in the budget. And if the markets rise, there will be a return and fees. If the markets fall or they don't rise, there will be no return and still fees. Markets tend to rise over time, so there will be a return over time. The question is, how much? Now here's the scoop. There's another government outsourced fund which has the same structure. And guess how much it returns? It ain't 6%. It ain't the mooted $500 million on the $10 billion HAFF loan either. Investment advisor Harry Chimay, who writes for us, has had a good look at the Medical Research Future Fund, the Medical Research Fund, rather, and he has the good oil on its returns and its fees. Now, the Medical Research Fund was an Abbott and Hockey idea. The dynamic duo put $1 billion in the fund, and the investment returns are being spent on medical research. Kevin Rudd bobbed along and dropped a cool $19 billion more public money into the fund, and the Medical Research Fund now manages $21.6 billion. But here's the catch. The fees are 2%, and 2% of $20 billion is $400 million. Those are the fees, which is almost, ironically, what the HAFF expects to spend on housing a year. How smart is that? As the fund is public money, it has to be low risk too. So it doesn't punt diamond stocks or rare earth shares on the ASX. It holds a lot of bonds and cash and some blue chip shares. And these are the safest, but they are also the lowest return. And so it's been getting 3% or so a year. This indicates, as it's the same model as the HAFF, that the HAFF does not stack up on the math. And in the years, like last, when the HAFF returned nothing, the money guys still got their $400 million in fees. That's the way the markets work. Holiday houses all round. Renovations too, perhaps. This means that the government has definitely been funding houses and renovations too. Now, Harry will publish next week on Michael West Media with the full picture. And he recently published on a grand irony that due to the Greens blocking the HAFF and due to a sensible compromise struck by Labor to fund social housing immediately, that is, the $2 billion social housing accelerator, the government has arisen from its neoliberal buttocks and delivered, thanks to the kerfuffle in Parliament House. You see, despite all the tribal wailing from both sides, this is democracy. This is the Senate in action, arguing the point over policy. This is good. Labor sallies forth with its HAFF proposal, which is a canny scheme to not pay for much and to save on costs and be fiscally responsible. And the Greens derail it for being too tight-assed and not addressing the crisis. Meanwhile, the coalition basks in political schadenfreude, doing nothing, preferring to focus on its signature policy, allying with the Murdoch press to shoot down the Voice. Meanwhile, the government has caved on its multinational tax avoidance reform, country-by-country reporting transparency reforms. It was an election promise, but hey, it's only been delayed, not junked. So they say it's not really a busted promise, just like the promise to bring money laundering reforms in 16 years ago, which would really help housing affordability. Maybe they will do it one day. Let's keep the torch on all this. Like, comment and share below, and tip us on Patreon if you can afford it.